Hi, I'm Lisa Redfern, and this is Gingersnap, Conversation and a Cookie with a Creative Mainer. I'm here with Deb Cote Anderson, and we're here in the Portland Ballet Theater. You can tell because we're right on stage. And Deb has written a play that is happening really, really soon, this weekend and next weekend.
Yes.
And it's very exciting, and I'm going to let you tell everybody about it. To sort of give us the synopsis.
Well, it's a story about my life from the beginning. I'm the last of 9, and so it's a kind of a story of being the youngest in the family, and I've gone through a lot of medical problems, but it's dealing with medical problems, deaths, just other things that I had to deal with, just being the youngest in the family.
Yeah.
And it's not a poor me. It's more of I want people to hear something that I've said and that they go, I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Yeah.
So that's mainly what the story is about. It takes place in a therapeutic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of excited, yes.
Yeah. So this is your first play.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, but you have written other things, or no? Have you written
No.
prose or poetry before this?
No.
Uh-huh.
No,
Wow.
it was a form of therapy when I first started.
Yeah.
And my husband read some of the stuff that I wrote and thought it should be turned into a book.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I met somebody who writes plays, and he thought it would be great as a play. And never thought about doing anything. It's just was not my dream. And then I ran into a very famous man. He was a Hollywood movie producer, lived in my building, and I gave him the script and I said, read it, tell me it stinks, so I can go back and say, sorry, he just doesn't think it's going to make it. Instead, I gave it to him that morning, and at dinner time, the phone rang, and he wanted to talk to me. So that's the man who lit the fire.
That's exciting.
Yes.
That's really
Yes.
exciting.
So you can do anything.
Indeed. That's wonderful. So, Deb, you were born and raised in Maine?
Yes, I was born and raised in Rumford, Maine, and it's a paper mill town. And father worked at the mill. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, well, with that many. To keep us all out of jail, it was probably a good thing. And then my mother did write a book, and it was called As I Live and Dream. She did that while 8 of the children were around. Wow. And had it published. And
so no excuses out there.
No, none whatsoever. And then in her 50s, she did a correspondence art course and became an art teacher. And
wow, that's great.
Crazy life.
Yeah. Do you know speaking of your mom, do you know your first word?
Oh, it was definitely Mummy.
Oh,
it was Mummy.
Yeah.
I was Mummy's girl.
Good. All right. Well, in honor of first words, my first word was cookie. So we are having the cookies that I got recently at, wait, I have to read which ones they are. This is the chocolate volcano. These are made by a company in Portland. And, frosted. I got them this weekend when speaking of what we do in Maine to make a living and get by, I have one of my part-time jobs is that I work for Zen Bear Honey Tea, and we had a booth at the Boston Christmas Festival this weekend, and this nice lady was right next to us.
Delicious.
They're chewy and good. Hold on, I gotta. My Three Sisters. That's what that's the cookie company.
Sort of like my family.
I know. It all comes together now. All right. So when you were a youngster, or when you were an adolescent, did you have a cool car that if you could get back you would?
Well, my father didn't have a car for many, many years. I think I was a teenager when he got his first one. But the one I remember is my brother Dickie had a 57 Chevy convertible, red with a white rag top.
Wow, talk about classic, huh?
Mm-hmm. It was very nice, but when he pulled up a few days after, he had Betty Boop decals on each side of the fenders.
Because why not?
And being a good Catholic girl, and that was not quite nice, especially when my father parked it right next to the convent. And my mother and father, the doctor's
Perfect.
office was right across the street, and they left me in the car, and I looked out the mirror, and 3 nuns were coming down, so
my
I
gosh.
crawled over the seat and laid on the back floor.
That is great. That is good. Oh my gosh. Do you have? Sorry, can you tell I'm really enjoying
it's
this
such
cookie?
a good cookie. It's still kind of stuck in my mouth.
Did you have books in your childhood that you read again and again, or as a young person?
There were 2, as a matter of fact. One was about the doll, and it was black and white photographs of a doll with teddy bears and the.
Oh, The Lonely Doll
Yes.
by Edith Head.
Yes.
No, Edith Head is a costume designer. Edith. Oh shoot, no, Edith was the name.
The little girl.
I'm going to think of it. I know this. Darn it! I didn't know you were going to say that. No, The Lonely Doll was.
Yes.
Oh, it's a really unusual name. Okay, if I can't think of it while we're doing this, I'll add it below.
Okay.
Oh my God, Dare Wright. I thought of it. Dare. Her name is Dare Wright, and she wrote the Lonely Doll books. And I thought those were really compelling and kind of spooky and kind of sad, but really sweet.
Yes. And now I gave the one I had. I think my sister bought it for me when I was about 4. And I finally gave it to my great niece when she was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the doll gets spanked by.
Yeah, and it became this big thing about
I
that they took it off the shelves because she got spanked, and I don't know.
So
the
that
photographs are amazing.
Oh, they were wonderful.
Yeah.
They were wonderful. That's probably, when the doll gets into the makeup all over herself. I think I followed that and did it myself. And what was the other one? Oh God, what was the other book that I read in high school? And I can't remember. It's just out of my mind.
It's just gone.
Gone.
Catcher in the Rye?
Yes.
I'm psychic, by the way. We just have a psychic connection.
Yeah. Boy,
well,
that's scary.
That's a good one. That was a good one. All right. Did you have an album or 2 that you played a lot when you were young, or that have been sort of a touchstone for you in your life? Or particular musicians?
I loved all of them. There were very few. I just loved music. Of course, the Beatles, you had to. Stones had to. Carole King, I loved. Doobie Brothers. I loved them all. Did I have a favorite? No, I'm one of those that if I hear a song and I can automatically see myself where I was, what people were wearing, and what we were doing. So there's a lot of songs that are like that for me.
So if you're having a funky day and you go home, is there music that you put on to kind of bring you to a place of peace?
Aretha.
Aretha, all right.
Aretha, The Temptations. I love them all.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Deb, if a movie was made about your life, what genre would it be, and who would star as you, or who do you think they cast as you? Who would you like to have them cast as you?
Well, it would definitely be a comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be Gilda.
Gilda Radner?
Yeah.
Oh.
She would be the lady.
Mm-hmm. That's a great choice. Good choice. All right. Well, good. We're going to see. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That wasn't so painful. You've been ginger snapped.
I've been ginger snapped. I've been a lot of things, but I've never been ginger.
But I've never been ginger snapped. Okay, so tell everybody again how to get tickets, what the dates are, dates and times and tickets.
Okay, you can go on timelineplay.com if you want to get your tickets ahead of time. It will start this Friday, the 9th and the 10th, and then the week after will be the 17th,
I think it's
16th, 17th, and 18th.
And there's a matinee on the 18th, right?
Matinee on the 18th. That one's almost sold out. So.
Wow. All right. So they can get tickets by going to that website.
Yes.
Yep.
And a little for you is one of your songs.
Oh, right.
Is
Almost forgot.
It is the first song that plays right before the lights turn on.
Oh, and thank you.
And
for
we love it.
that.
We love it.
Thank you so much. All right. This has been Gingersnap. If you want to know more about me or my music, you can go to lisaredfern.com. There's a couple fun things coming up. All right. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
This has been Gingersnap.